welcome back. Alexa Lewis and Patty Shewmaker here of Shewmaker and Shewmaker. I think this is probably our last video in this series of videos, for now, on the Hague Convention.
Which is one of my
It's huge.
favorite area of the law and favorite type of cases to handle.
Well, that's because they're constantly, they're interesting and they're constantly different. And you're dealing with other countries all over the place that you normally wouldn't have any kind of interaction with. So, Patty, under the Hague Convention, is there a mechanism, say you take one of these cases pro bono, and the State Department reaches out and says, hey, I have this case, it's in your jurisdiction, would you mind helping this parent? You agree, you spend hours and hours on the case. Is there a mechanism under the Hague Convention to seek attorney's fees from the parent who wrongfully removed the child?
Yes.
You hesitated a little bit.
I did, and the reason I hesitated, and this is of course a nuance, because we have the Hague Convention, which is the treaty, but then we have the federal statute, the United States statute, which is the International Child Abduction Remedies Act, which is the federal statute that implements the treaty. And while there is a provision for attorney's fees under the federal statute, there's not under the treaty. But under the federal statute, if the left behind parent prevails on their petition to have the children returned.
Okay, so let's kind of break that down a little bit. Say the left behind parent is in Mexico, they seek the return of the children to Mexico, the judge agrees, says the kids are going back, right? That's what you mean? Sure.
Right.
Got it.
So the United States statute, the federal statute under ACARA, says that there is a legal presumption that the abducting parent pays the costs that were incurred by the left behind parent. That includes attorney's fees, that includes legal costs, that also includes costs to return the children or child.
Stuff like beautiful.
Absolutely. And also what's interesting is that's a legal presumption. And so there's a great case out of the 11th Circuit, which is Georgia. That includes Georgia. Called Rath versus Murkowski, and it's all about, look, this statute shifts the burden regarding attorney's fees. So, because there's a legal presumption, the burden shifts from the defendant the petitioner who's asking for it to the defendant to prove why they shouldn't have to pay attorney's fees.
Really? That's interesting.
So there's a presumption that if
You're
the left
gonna have
behind, yeah, absolutely. And the reason is, and you read the case law, particularly that 11th Circuit case, and they say, look, the reason is number one, we want to discourage parents from wrongfully removing children from their countries of habitual residence. The second reason is we want to encourage attorneys to take these types of cases, because otherwise what happens is, in a lot of instances, these left behind parents are without the financial means to hire an attorney to represent them in a foreign court. I mean, think about some of the clients we've had. We've had clients from Mexico, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, Turkey, Germany, England. And a lot of these clients don't have the financial means to hire an attorney here in the United States, much less find an attorney.
Right.
It's not inexpensive. And, oh, by the way, they are litigating in a foreign court to get their children returned. So those are some of the reasons why it's a burden-shifting attorney's fee statute, which is actually very rare. There's only a few statutes like that in our law. So if you are the left behind parent, you do have recourse, you do have remedies, and there's a good chance, if you prevail, that your attorney's fees will be paid for by the abducting parent. Great question. We look forward to talking to you guys more about other topics, so stay tuned.